play that number. My number come religiously in the lottery. The good Lord blesses me every month. That number falls every month on the dot. If it don't fall on the 13, it's gonna fall on the 16. If it don't fall on the 16, it's gonna fall by the 30. Well, that number sure does come. That girl looked at me and laughed and said, girl, I ain't giving you no $1,250. So I threw my cane into the door before she slammed it on me. And I said, listen here, little girl. You gonna come up with my $1,250.
Yeah. You know, I just gotta ask. Sometimes you act like a black Karen.
A black Karen?
I don't know why, cause you know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, don't you ever compare me to no Karen. That's disrespectful.
Y'all like black Karen.
That's disrespectful.
I don't know why.
Don't you do
like
it.
black Karen. That ain't my problem.
I don't appreciate that. I don't
Hey, you
appreciate that at all. I'm Granny. Thank you for tuning in. I got a great topic for you tonight. Someone called my house phone and they wanted to ask me a question. The young lady was telling me how her and her man had moved in together over a year ago and he had lost his job. He hadn't been working for 9 months and she was starting to feel a type of ways. And she asked me for advice on what to do. And so I hope the young lady's tuning in because I'm about to answer her question. Well, listen here. Everybody know how Granny feels about that shacking up before marriage. But if you're going to shack up, you better not shack up with a broke man. And in fact, this reminds me of a story about a lady named Carolyn. Let me tell you a little story. Now, one day, I was walking outside my apartment and I saw a little boy sitting there on the stoop. I gave him 50 cents and I said, look here, little boy, go on down there for Granny and put her number in. So he went off and he came back with Granny's lotto ticket. And so later on that night, after I finished making PopPop dinner, I made him some baked chicken, some rice, and some cream of corn. Because PopPop loves his cream of corn. And I was sitting there in front of the tube and I was waiting for my lottery came on. And then it came on and the numbers and the ball started to drop. It came out 3, 5, 1, 0. I said, hot dog, Granny's number done fell. And so soon afterwards, the phone started ringing. I looked at the call ID and it was the bill collector. And I picked up this time. I said, hello. And the man on the phone said, hey, is this Granny? I said, yes, this Granny. And he said, listen, Granny, I've been trying to reach you for about a month now. Your water bill is due to be shut off. You owe $279. And I said, listen here, young man, don't you worry, because Granny done hit the lottery and you're going to have your money tomorrow. And so I hung up the phone. The next morning, we got up, me and PopPop. Now, PopPop had to go on down there to his general practitioner because PopPop has high blood pressure. So they had to check his heart rate regularly for his pressure and make sure his medication is correct. And so PopPop took the Cadillac on down to the doctor's office and Granny done called herself a cab. And so I put on my slippers and I put on my good coat and I jumped myself in the cab. And I told that man, I said, take me on over there to the lottery store. So I walked into the lottery store and I handed my ticket to the lady behind the desk. And I was so smiling. And she looked at that ticket. She said, Granny, this ain't a winner. I said, girl, that yeast infection must have gave you glaucoma. You better look at that ticket. That dead ticket is a winner. And she looked at that ticket again. She said, no, Granny, this ain't a winner. And she gave me back the ticket. I looked at that ticket and sure enough, the number was 3, 5, 1, 2. I said, God damn it, I'm gonna kill that boy. So I gave that cab driver back my last $5 to take me back on home. So enough, I got myself out that cab and I ran upstairs in that apartment building and I knocked on Carolyn's door. Some little short, ugly man answered the door. I said, where Carolyn at? He said, Carolyn. And so Carolyn came to the door. I said, Carolyn, you owe me $12.50. She said, Granny, I don't know you $12. no $12. I said, you owe me $1,250. And she said, Granny, why do I owe you $1,250? I said I gave your nappy head little boy my 50 cents to go play my numbers. I told him to play 3510. Your little nappy head little boy played 351. I ain't never played that number. My number come religiously in the lottery. The good Lord blesses me every month. That number falls every month on the dot. If it don't fall on the 13th, it's gonna fall on the 16th. If it don't fall on the 16th, it's gonna fall by the 30th. Well, that number sure does come. That girl looked at me and laughed and said, Girl, I ain't giving you no $1,250. So I threw my cane into the door before she slammed it on me. And I said, listen here, little girl. You gonna come up with my $1,250. She said, Granny, what makes you think I'm gonna give you $1,250? I said, that little ugly little man, you better get it from him. She said, he don't got no $1,250 for you, Granny. And I said, you listen here, young lady. I said, if you don't have my money, you gonna see what's gonna happen. And I backed up side of here my cane and walked back downstairs. Ooh, I was so mad. Ooh, I was jumping up out of my skin. I was so mad. I didn't even have time to make PopPop no dinner. I fixed him up some pork and beans and hot dogs and went to bed early. And in fact, I even missed Bible study that night. So the next day came by, I ain't see Kelly. 3 days came by, I still didn't see Kelly. I ain't see Kelly nor her little snotty-nosed little boy on the stoop. So I was burning. I was fuming so mad. I sat up there and I said, you know what? I picked up that phone and I dialed Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins lives down the hall, and Mr. Jenkins is both the super and he works down there at the housing authority. And so I called up Mr. Jenkins. He said, hey, Granny. I said, listen here, Mr. Jenkins, we got a problem. I said, that Kelly girl, she gonna have to go. She owe me $1,250. And he asked me why she owed me $1,250, and I explained to him how that little boy messed up my number. And if he didn't mess up my number, I had that $1,250. And Mr. Jenkins looked at me and said, Granny, I can't kick her out for $1,250 because she messed up your lottery ticket. I said, listen here, Mr. Jenkins, that girl's always having her rent parties on the 6th. The rent is due on the 1st and late by the 5th. Why she having rent parties on the 6th? And in fact, she got men running up in and out of that apartment. In fact, she got a man staying with her, which is a violation of her Section 8. He said, I'm so sorry, Granny, that you lost your winning ticket, but we can't evict somebody because they owe you money. I said, Mr. Jenkins, don't your wife, Mrs. Jenkins, work down there at the post office? He said, why, yes, Granny, she does. And I said, well, listen here, Mr. Jenkins. I'm finna to put on my coat and go down there and get me a book of stamps. Your wife is a lovely lady. Her and I have a little chit-chat every time I walk up in the post office. In fact, I wonder how she's going to feel about today's chit-chat when I tell her about Miss Sue, who's been up and out of your apartment on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, coming out fixing her wig and fixing her skirt. He cut me off so fast he stuttered. I think that boy got a stuttering problem anyway, but he was stuttering all over the phone. He said, listen here, Greta, I'll take care of it. Now that following Wednesday, I was sitting up there watching The Young and the Restless, and then I got a knock on the door, and someone handed me a slip. They said, Granny, you're going to have to come on down here to the housing authority to give a witness statement for Caroline. She's supposed to get evicted. And I said, okay, Granny be down there. And so right after Vivian killed Bob on Days of Our Lives, I got another knock at the door. I opened up the door, and sure enough, it was that short, ugly little man from Caroline's apartment. He handed me an envelope, and in the envelope was a note. It says, here, Granny, here's your $12.50 plus interest. Caroline. Listen, Granny didn't have to go down there and give no witness statement. Granny got her $1,250. Now, the moral of the story is this. Don't you dare be shacking up with no broke man, putting your Section 8 at risk. I'm Granny.